compendium tab. Yep, there should be. Yep, there should be. I don't think Scotia and Shilwell are in there though. Same. Yeah, so just like drag one over onto your sheet and then just fill it out and it will automatically print. Hey, Don. Much as it when you're specialist, it doesn't take long, especially if the tree is broad enough to have a lot of the lower level ones. Yeah, and then you get a discount of 25 XP for every rank you have in expertise in this skill. Yep, 150 each. Me as well. Switch over to the stream here. We're just doing some upkeep before we start the adventure. So yeah, so when you pick up, you're picking up Patron and Sorcerer.
Yeah, just kind of the first two spends to get me in line to be able to do something at some point. I don't know if I can cast at that point. But...
Once you take Sorcerer, you totally can.
Okay, do you have to like buy spell lists, or is it just something? Oh, well, you can try to do this.
You have to pick a spell that you know, but then the spells have like variations within them.
Gotcha.
So with Patron, you can now port the Sorcerer talent.
I forgot I had picked up a lion-headed helmet.
So yeah, so when you pick up Patron, you get to learn another petty enchantment.
Okay.
So something, if you want to learn something other than your Lotus Potions and your Burning Liquids, if you want to learn Exploding Powders or Reinforced Fabric, actually I think you got that one, or Upus Glass or Talismans, you can pick another petty enchantment that you know as a result of your instruction from Zabibi.
Cool. All right, I'll delve on that and look into it as we're going.
And as long as you have Sorcerer Expertise 2, which you do, you get to gain one spell, and your resolve permanently drops by 2 dice. So anywhere from 0 to 4. As you come face to face with the unfathomable depths of the cosmos.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm casting a spell. Ow! Ow.
Yes.
Yeah, I was reading that. I'm like, well, that's just not bad. Not bad, I guess.
So the spells that she can teach you Enslave, Dismember, Fury of the Elements, Summon a Horror, or Venom on the Wind.
Ooh, what's that?
Venom on the Wind, it's like summoning storms.
Oh,
You converse with spirits, elementals, and other unwholesome things. While the powerful effects can be worked by this spell, its powers are fickle, and effects can just as easily be undone. So yeah, it's basically summoning storms, calling lightning, rain, winds, that sort of thing.
ooh, lightning bolt. I like that. So Venom and the Wind, I think, is be the ones I will learn first.
And it'll take you 1 resolve to cast a spell with it.
Okie dokie.
No learning cost on that one?
That's taken into account with that 2 die hit to resolve. So,
I think I screwed over Taker then.
yeah, the first spell you learn is subsumed into that 2 dice cost to your resolve.
Ah, gotcha.
So I think I have this EXP right. So the 2 ranks of skirmisher was 450, right?
Yes.
And then shield wall was 200.
Shield wall. It would cost you 450 for all 3 of them, 150
All
apiece.
3 of them. Okay, so I had that wrong then. So I should still have 300 left over. Excellent. Just pot that for later.
I picked up Polite Society and Commanding Men. Which basically just gets rid of society and linguistics problems.
All right. So for Jeff, I'm gonna pop Venom on the Wind into the journal tab there for you.
Okay.
That way, and the way spells work is it's a difficulty 1. And there's kind of 2 ways to do it. You can either build the spell and then aim for a certain difficulty, or you can go difficulty 1 and then the momentum you get you spend on the chart.
Got it.
So like if you want to call Lash of the Heavens, for example, it's all characters outside of shelter take X damage ignoring soak. So X is the amount of momentum you spend. So you're like, I'm just gonna I got 4 momentum. That's gonna be 4 damage that ignores soak to everybody outside of shelter. And that's a big thing to worry about with Venom of the Wind is it's a wide area.
The last ditch for those ravaging hordes of whatevers.
Exactly.
Well, that sounds good. Should be fun at any rate.
Which is that that's the thing with sorcery in the game is sorcery is indiscriminate.
Wait till you start binding your alchemical concoctions into your Venom of the Wind spell.
Yeah, so you could literally make it rain fire by binding your burning liquids into the rain that falls from the sky.
Oh, you're taking the ideas right out of my head.
Yeah, the magic system in this it's fairly freeform in that you can control the weather, but then you can, if you knew another spell, you could merge those together and try something like have a rain that falls from the heavens that turns people into pigs if you had the animal form spell.
How Cersei.
Yes, but like I said, it is indiscriminate. So if you call down lightning, it's going to affect everybody that's not in shelter, friend or foe.
Yep. Something to be very wary about.
Yep. And magic in and of itself does not provide the sorcerer with any protection.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I ran a game and I had an NPC sorcerer that basically took themselves out of the fight because they summoned some unspeakable horror and failed their fear test.
Yeah, summon a horror is really, really powerful, but
Mhm.
it could really get you.
Alrighty. So, uh, you guys have, kind of stocked up. You've got like a flotilla of, or a small flotilla of ships that is plying the trade in the Baccarat Isles and the southern part of the Western Ocean on your behalf. You've developed a little bit of a reputation amongst the pirates and stuff, and reputation tends to spread as a result of everything that happened over the last 17 games. So I think I put it in chat, but everybody can bump their renown up by 1. Just people have heard of you. The raid on Balbanon, the destruction of the Black Isles, the thwarting of Maledictmur the sorcerer. Even in faraway kingdoms, merchants are talking about you. Your names are out there.
Did we get that galleon in the end?
Yes, that is part of your flotilla of ships.
Nice.
You guys returned Amarena to her father. Were gifted with her galleon. Bunch of gold, which has largely been spent in the month or so, kind of like, just relaxing and living your best life after saving the world. But the time has come. Ragnar and Red Ortho are returning back home to Nordheim. There is in Asgard. There is a thing happening where they're going to, kind of discuss, raiding opportunities and any possible challenges for chieftainship and things of that nature. Ortho, even though he's a Vanir, feels closer to the people of Asgard. There is a fair bit of bad blood between those two countries. So he plans to make his basically kind of almost make a claim of citizenship, as it were, basically wanting to be recognized as one of the Asgard as opposed to one of the Vanir. He's bringing Ragnar around because Ragnar kind of owes him for the battle axe.
That I do. That I do.
And the rest of you, well, never been this far north. Might be a good change of pace. Ragnar's your crew member.
Chris.
Yep.
Would Ragnar be correct in assuming that the one who kind of disgraced him and kind of forced him into exile will probably be at these talks?
Absolutely.
Excellent. No more questions.
Yes, absolutely. The individual or individuals responsible for your family's exile will 100% be there.
Everybody goes to the thing, man.
Plan to make an
Yes.
entrance, if that's all right with you, Captain.
Hey, you just do you. As far as I know, you guys are all uncivilized brutes, and you're going to do uncivilized things. And if everything goes right, you'll be a king or a duke or something. And before we head back to sea, I'll have a nice little title, maybe Earl. You think I should be an Earl after you're king, or Duke? Duke's too pompous.
I think they pronounce it Jarl.
Yup,
Carol,
Jarl.
which it used to mean greater things. But now it's mainly just a toss around title in my eyes.
Well, all I know is this is an opportunity to gain great renown, great fortune. That's all we really need, and help out a friend, of course.
Absolutely. I probably would have talked to Ortho as well about Ragnar plans to when these people are spotted, he plans to make an entrance like none other.
Well, nothing quite like getting the party started off right.
Exactly. See, we're on the same page.
Oh, said there's no love lost between me and my people, so hopefully you can put right what you need to with yours.
Here's hoping. Hoping when this is done, we'll all be able to retire in semi-peace. Not too much peace, just a little bit.
So the travel up the Pictish coast to Vanaheim, uneventful. I mean, here and there when you get a little bit too close to the Pictish coast, they start sending war canoes out after you and things of that nature. But nothing that your ship and your crew can't handle. You do notice though, even though it is summer, when you leave, basically you're going from like summer in the Bahamas to summer just shy of the Arctic Circle. There is it is a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, I'm good.
So you're as you get further and further north in the the crew starts to bundle up. You start getting up in the mornings and you can see your breath. The people that are on the night watch as you get further north, there's a little bit of ice crystallizing on the gunnels of this ship, just from the ocean spray and stuff. And that's, you kind of expected the cold. You prepared, you threw in some furs and, some extra rum rations and stuff like that. But as you start to pull into the coast of Anaheim, the darkness kind of hits you. The port is not a city. It's not even what you would comfortably call a town. It is a variety of tents and some stone buildings kind of spread out along the coast. It's like 2 or 3 docks, a couple of fishing boats. It is far removed from any sort of civilization you are used to.
Dear gods, tell me one of those tents is big enough to be a bar.
I came to a place like this. You're all broke.
I got some money left.
Cletio, it says boot money.
It's true.
Yeah, boot money's good.
But yeah, the coastline, it's rugged, it is mountainous, it is cold, it is not at all like you guys are used to at home.
Far too cold.
So, question for you. The gold that we have, how much do we have left?
I'm going to assume whatever you have on your character sheet, you have. All of the gold and treasure that you got from bringing back Amarena and the haul from the various ships and stuff like that. All of that kind of offboard stuff has been spent. So
Okay.
what's on your sheets is what's on your sheets.
Cool.
And as your boat pulls in, there is a crowd of people, and you notice that your boat does tend to stand out amongst the smaller long ships and everything that are out on the waters here.
Goddamn right it does. As it should.
But yeah, a variety of men, women, children. You do notice that pretty much everybody that is physically capable of holding a weapon has a weapon. Like, not drawn, but like axes tucked in the belt, daggers tucked in, knives, all of that sort of thing. Everybody from probably about, 8 years of age and up.
An armed society is a polite society.
Ragnar, this thing better be important.
Oh, it'll grow on you, Captain. You haven't yet experienced proper Nordheim hospitality.
Oh, I can hardly wait.
That's a spirit.
Oh, it'll be good for you, Captain. Haven't seen a few myself. It's not like there's a caber toss or anything, but hey, it's all good.
And the village itself, it does seem to be spread out. Much to Clytius' chagrin, there is nothing that immediately strikes you as a tavern or an inn.
Oh no.
Yeah, there's probably booze in every individual home.
There's nothing that immediately strikes you as merchant shops or anything. And as you kind of disembark, and your crew is like, "Good luck, Captain."
Graham, you'll take care of my ship, I assume.
Of course.
I mean, you've been itching to be captain for a while, so.
Should we ply the trades while we wait for you? Should we go back down south and come back?
I would head south. I believe this particular excursion is going to take, Ragnar, a couple months at the very least?
That's if what is going on goes on well. If we run into snags, say war breaks out, it might be a bit longer.
Well, how about you give us 2 months and then stop by once a month, and eventually we'll be here. But no raiding in the north.
Of course not. We're pirates, not raiders.
And no piracy in the north. The last thing we need is piss these people off.
Understood.
And they seem broke.
As you say that, then you look around at Clytius, specifically notice a fair number of them. They're wearing like ornate, well-made jewelry. You would not peg. I mean, obviously they're not nobility or anything, but they're definitely not broke.
Good to know.
Kind of sizing up the opportunities with your like ransack talent.
Yeah. Clytius is also stashing various knives on his person because they all have the hidden quality.
There you go. So you guys managed to disembark, bringing along the gear. I'm going to assume that you guys geared up down south and just carted it with you.
Makes sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like some, tent survival gear. Did you guys decide on whether you wanted horses or not?
I thought we were gonna buy like a cart or something when we got here.
Yeah, perfect.
Was that not where we were at?
I think so.
Yeah,
And-
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We get like a wagon and.
it's about carrying stuff.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to assume that all that just comes out of that payout that you got for the last adventure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Go ahead.
So I've got 3 armor locations I can do.
Yes, with your reinforced fabric. Yeah.
So, I mean, originally I believe it was a torso for myself and a torso for the captain, and I think torso.
I got one too.
Yeah, and a torso for Clytius. At this point, I'm going to take the 3, and I'm going to basically do left leg, right leg, and let's say left arm on myself on the brigandine that I've got.
Okay.
Now, how do I alter that to show on the armor soap?
One sec.
You should be able to edit the details of the brigandine.
So yeah, on the like if you pull up your brigandine jacket and go to the edit tab, and then under details, you should be able to just change the armor soap that's there.
Yeah, that's what I did, but you can I changed the value, but it applies it to all the locations
Yep.
equally. So you
Um,
just have to remember that your any spots you didn't upgrade are still the lower value.
Can I spend a couple gold to have actually then created the full outfit?
sure. What you can do as well, Don, is just like make another copy the armor, and then you can edit the locations it covers.
Sure.
So, or you can just remember whichever is easier for you.
Well, I mostly use my my paper sheet, and
Yep.
the computer sheet is more of a guideline.
Perfect. As long as you have a way to track it, that's all that matters.
Oh yeah, I got a sheet full of stuff too.
Perfect. So yeah, so as you kind of make your way through this little village, you do notice that people are kind of giving both Ortho and Ragnar not necessarily the stink eye, but you know they definitely notice. You know, Ragnar looks, even though he's from Nordheim. Nordheim is essentially two countries kind of mashed together. There's Vanaheim, which is the coastal area, and then there's Asgard, which is inland. And those two countries do not always get along.
Clytius is going to separate a little bit and see if he can pick up any of what people are saying, like whispering behind backs and whatnot. Because he's got the language now for linguistics.
Perfect. Why don't you give me an observation test?
And he assumes that they're going to think he's a fucking tourist and doesn't know the language.
He's walking around with her Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. Observation, okay. Okay, that's one.
Right. You do have sharp senses. So.
I do have sharp senses. I'll re-roll the 15. Yeah. Still just one, but I do scout, so I can have a momentum for obtaining information.
Oh, perfect. All right. So yeah, so as you're kind of listening in, the general consensus seems to be regarding Ragnar, a lot of, you know, like basically that innate hostility between the Vanir and the Asgardians. They're not currently engaged in war this far south,
Right.
but there is just that intrinsic hostility.
And to me, they all look like the same people, probably.
They do not. The folks that you see here are generally like red or like auburn-ish colored hair, whereas Ragnar is very clearly like blonde, blue-eyed sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
And as you look around, like, he is probably the only blonde person that you see.
Pretty much, Ragnar is Marvel's Thor, where everybody else here is like real mythology Thor.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He had red
So
hair.
they don't interbreed at all.
Not this far south.
Oh, weird. Okay.
And regarding Ortho, it's a lot of like, you know, what sort of trouble is he going to cause this time? You know, last time, my brother went raiding with him and never returned, and apparently he's got a bit of a reputation for bringing people on raids and then them not returning.
But it's all general grumbling and not like, I'm going to kill that guy.
Yeah, general grumbling, low level hostility. If a group of them caught Ragnar or Ortho, in the alley with nobody else around, they'd probably do something, but they're not going to do anything right now.
If they caught us in an alley, they'd be dead.
Yeah.
So opportunistic plans. Gotcha. This could get fun.
And as you make your way, there is, again, every tent, every building looks like it's residential. None of these are businesses. Kind of in the center of the village, though, there is a kind of a very large open market with a couple of like open forges from the blacksmiths and open market stalls, a wide variety of smoked, dried, and otherwise cooked fish and seal meat. This is where you pick up your cart and these fairly rugged looking, not quite a horse, larger than a pony, beasts of burden.
So they're particularly sturdy looking donkeys.
Yeah, they're like a very sure-footed kind of mountain horse.
Slightly aggressive mule.
Well, mules are pretty aggressive, so.
Slightly more aggressive mule.
But yeah, kind of in that ballpark. Karo, as you kind of look in Kenai, yeah, unlike most major cities that you've been in, there's nobody eyeing coin purses or anything of that nature. There's nobody tries to make a play for anything. There's no pickpocketing happening. Not just with you guys, but in general, there's nothing like that.
Thievery is to be frowned upon.
We're civilized folk here.
I am not a thief. I'm just a highly proficient looter.
There you go.
Big difference.
But the people are friendly enough in a kind of slightly standoffish way. For those of you that understand the language, it's a little bit easier. But I mean, they're a coastal city, so they are used to some degree of trade. You do notice not a lot of steel or iron being worked by the smiths. It's mainly like copper and bronze.
Clytius is going to keep up the pretense that he doesn't speak the language, any of it. Like, even the little bit that he does speak.
Gotcha.
Just in case that comes in handy later.
And you guys know, like, from the coast here to kind of the center of Asgard, it's a ways. It's probably about 500 miles inland.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's good travel.
And specifically, Ragnar, you would know, and you'd be able to tell everybody that you have to cross what are referred to as the Blue Mountains.
Yeah, I had to kind of go through there on my way out of Asgard.
And this is a bad thing. Why?
Is it a bad thing?
Chris, is it a bad thing?
Well, the Blue Mountains are they are mountains. They're not hills. They are mountains. I think the largest peak is probably about 1,200 meters above sea level.
Must be a pass of some sort, though.
There are a couple of passes. The passes tend to be where the bloodiest battles happen whenever Asgard and Vanaheim go to war.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Big old choke points.
then.
The mountains are also home to snow apes, lindworms, polar bears, wild boar.
As long as they don't have snow monkeys.
They
Probably
do,
just
but yeah. Basically, there's some dangerous creatures that live in the mountains.
wild boar sounds like lunch.
Apes aren't monkeys. I can handle apes.
That is very true. And if anybody wants, they can give me a lore test. See what else you may be aware of.
Cool.
No, thank you. Doesn't matter. Don't care.
I'd rather not.
Clytius already thinks it's too far away from water.
I would, but I'd rather not embarrass myself in my own home.
Oh, that's a great roll. All right.
Well, technically, they are neighbors.
They are, and I mean, there's a mountain range between Cimmeria and Asgard as well. So, you have to kind of parse the names slightly different. The other thing that the Blue Mountains are known for, like not just the mountains, but the area kind of around it. There are lost tombs of ancient kings from the time before Atlantis sunk, when this was much richer and much more fertile land. Those tombs are often guarded by a variety of unliving and undying guardian warriors.
I believe we call those Draugr, don't we?
Yes, those are called Draugr. I've slain so many of those in Skyrim.
Yeah.
And you also you are aware that occasionally in the evening that travelers sometimes get lured to their doom by flickering ghost lights.
Oh, lovely.
We haven't even started, and I hate this place already.
As I said, Captain, it'll grow on you. I haven't had a proper boar roast yet.
But as you guys kind of get your cart together, kind of get your supplies laid in, your food, your water, your furs, sleeping blankets, all of that stuff.
Rum?
You can take some rum off the ship.
They don't have rum?
They do not.
I'll find the closest meadery I can.
They do have plenty of mead.
Oh, okay. Well, we might survive.
Plenty of mead, plenty of ale. And there's
Make sure we get some citrus.
Yes.
there is no citrus up here.
No.
What?
No.
How do they keep the scurvy away?
Other plants that contain vitamin C.
What?
Yes, they exist.
Yeah, hardier vegetation tends to be the staple here. So you're looking for sources of vitamin C. You're looking at things like broccoli and kale, stuff like that.
Oh no.
Did
Afraid
you
so, mate.
think we all just got to this size and bronze by sheer luck? Eat our veggies.
You know kale is bad when fictional characters in a game turn their nose up at it.
Right.
Tastes
Yeah.
tastes like green.
It's just bad.
Tastes like a good combination of green and dirt. On the plus side, though, the fermented fish really helps to chase that down.
It does.
Yeah, we're bringing a barrel from.
All right. So yeah, you guys, and there is a, you know, as you're picking up your supplies and you're letting the, people like, oh, where are you headed to? And you're like, oh, going up to the mountains. There's a lot of, kind of like, head shaking and smiling and nodding. The sort of thing that, people would give to, their poor unfortunate, brother-in-law or cousin or whoever. The sort of like, good for you.
Suckers!
Yeah, we're going to Asgard.
If you let it be known where you're headed, there is a lot more grumbling.
We are heading to the mountains, is where we're heading.
Oh, okay.
The mountains.
Yeah, I assume we discussed that. I don't know.
I would think so, yeah.
I really don't care what they think.
Well, I really do.
But it is a balmy like 3 degrees out, so there is that.
Oh, nice.
So cold.
And yeah, you guys are like wrapped up in your furs and everything else, and a lot of the folks here are just, I mean, they're wearing like long sleeve shirts and stuff, but they're like, you're headed out in the wilderness, are you? Okay.
What could go wrong?
Could possibly go wrong.
Dun dun dun.
Yep, and we are camping directly right here.
Oh boy. Should have stayed on the ship.
Miss
Of
out on
course,
this
if I-
adventure, ladies.
Of course, if I had, they probably would have tried to make me captain.
You'd be the next most high-ranking member of the crew, right?
Yeah, I can't have that.
Well, those are the standing orders.
Just remember, distillation is alchemy, so hey.
So yeah, you guys gather up your stuff and head out. I'm going to assume that you guys probably docked early morning, so it's probably around like early afternoon when you head out.
Yeah, I don't
Sounds
see
about
any
right.
reason to stick around.
Raining a little bit, very cold rain, but at least it's not snow. Who is driving the cart?
Oh, yeah. Animal handling.
I drive the boat, not the cart.
I could probably have the.
Well, does anybody have land vehicles?
Well, I have animal handling 12 with no expertise or focus.
I have it 10, 2 focus, and 2 expertise.
Yeah, so I have animal handling at a whole 8 with nothing, so count me out.
I should probably drive the cart then. I know the way.
Yeah, I
Kinda.
mean, I could even help you do that.
Yeah.
There we go. Good team.
All right. So Karo and Ragnar climb up onto the little driver's seat. There's space in the back for the rest of you to kind of like ride along. snuggled amongst your various supplies. So why doesn't somebody give me an animal handling roll?
Clytius will focus on navigation.
D1.
D1. Oh, nice. Oh, and Don, you could pick up the sunstone that you posted in the chat.
Sweet, sweet. I already added it.
Okay, perfect.
Can I have my harp?
Yes, you can have a harp.
I'll practice
And
on harp.
I also trimmed my extra equipment, so I'm down to 10 encumbrance with the survival kit.
So with the Hardy kind of like key up the two little mountain ponies start pulling, surprisingly strong for their size. Not the fastest beasts by any stretch, but sure-footed. And you guys set off from this little village into the interior of Vanaheim. From looking at your ship's charts and stuff, and I'll assume that you probably brought like some, probably not the actual ship charts, but like kind of hand-drawn maps and the like.
Yeah, I imagine we're over prepared since we had lots of money, right?
Yeah.
Like just 10 blankets when we needed to. And...
Perfect. So I mean, there's not a lot of landmarks, and you do notice like as you start to go fairly rapidly into more mountainous territory, there's not a lot of trees. A lot of like scrub brush and things of that nature. Every once in a while, there's like you come down to like a little valley near a brook, and there's some trees that are hardier. But wood is very much at a premium in this area, which is probably why their ships are not as large and massive as southern ships are. And you also notice like none of the houses that you saw really were made of wood. A lot of stonework, a lot of tents. But yeah, wood is very much at a premium here.
Or maybe they're all just, very, very, safe in their masculinity and they don't feel the need to buy a big truck.
Maybe.
That doesn't seem right.
I want a big truck.
If we had your ships, the whole world would be ours.
And what doesn't Clytius give me an observation check?
Okay.
Oh, you're good at that.
What am I looking at for difficulty?
With your sunstone, this would be difficulty 1.
Cool. I will spend momentum and hope to make some. I'll reroll the 19. Oh, there we go. Turns it to 2.
The folks that sold you the sunstone, they weren't lying. They're like, navigating is going to be rough. There's not a lot of landmarks. Sometimes the sun is obscured by cloud cover. The sunstone does help as you kind of hold it up and it like filters out so you can position the sun. And you're confident that you're headed in the proper direction towards the mountains. They are still hundreds of miles off. Probably about a good week and a half or so till you get to the footholds of the Blue Mountains.
Well, we'll keep our eye out for wood and game, I guess.
Yep. And yet,
I've also got a momentum. I think if there's anything to spend on the free one.
not really it's more just kind of a general navigation test to make sure you're not headed further north or further south into Samaria.
Okay.
Just kind of to kind of keep you on track, as it were. The first couple of days are uneventful. Like it is desolate. You don't see a lot of other people. As you start to make your way further and further inland, you start to see, like, little drifts of snow here and there. The scrubland has like a light dusting on it. A couple mornings you get up and you kind of have to like crack the ice on the wash basin. There's enough firewood and enough game that you guys don't have to worry too much about that sort of thing. What you do notice, and what is probably very disconcerting to those of you that aren't from the area, it doesn't get dark.
Ah, yes, the twilight.
It's not even a twilight. It's, you're like, okay, we've traveled for several hours now. We should set up camp. Setting up camp takes an hour. Have something to eat. Why is the sun still up? Kind of sit around the campfire. Yeah, exactly. It is. The sun does not set.
That's a good thing we didn't come in the winter then.
That's fine. But if the vampires start to sparkle, then it's danger.
Ooh, hush you.
Yeah, I'm leaving this game right away as soon as there's a sparkly vampire. Sorry, guys, I'm out.
Yep.
Ragnar, the entire trip, just kind of revels in the fact that no matter where they go, it is very unlikely that all he'll smell is goat shit and seaweed.
Yeah, you guys have like left the smell of the sea about 2 days behind you.
Nice crisp air.
So
Air
yeah,
smells weird, Captain. Don't like it.
Me neither.
Where's the salt?
and about your third day out, so you're probably about a good 60-80 miles from the coast. Your horses are, they're eating up the scrub brush, things of that nature. They are relatively self-sufficient. But you can see an area kind of like a little bit off. You guys aren't traveling on a road so much as it is a path that's been beaten down by travel back and forth with trade caravans and stuff.
A vague path.
Yeah. But Clytius, you spot what looks like an area where there was an encampment, maybe about 100-200 feet kind of off this path. And your keen senses, your sharp senses, can tell you that the ground there is all churned up like there was a struggle or a fight of some nature. You see churned up snow, churned up mud, a little bit of spatterings of blood.
Dun dun dun.
It's probably the first sign of people that you've seen in probably about a day and a half, 2 days.
Hi, Captain. I think we found a crime scene.
Well, we might as well take a look, shall we?
Clytius probably identifies it as signs of civilization.
Yes, probably.
Well, if nothing else, we might learn something, right?
Aye, 'tis, but be prepared to be set upon.
It could have been a monkey attack for all we know.
No monkeys.
Aye. Oh, could you imagine? Perhaps it's undead monkeys from the mountains.
Did like that mountain.
The one that
That
I
is a great island.
Yeah, such a lovely island.
Right. So you approach and you look, and it definitely looks like a fight happened here. There's like some wrecked supplies, destroyed tents. Looks like there was probably like a small group of people encamped here, maybe 3 or 4. No sign of any bodies. Some blood on the churned up in the snow along with the mud and torn up grass. And some vague footprints in the snow. Like it's not snowing per se, it's kind of blowing a little bit, but there's a tramp down trail that leads away. And anybody could give me an observation or survival test.
Quick question, Chris.
Everyone or just one?
Was-
Probably whoever's best at it would roll.
Was Ortho traveling with us, or did he already go?
Ortho is going to make his own way.
All right.
I guess I'll roll this if anybody else wants to.
I would assume so. I was just assisting you.
Okay. Yep, there we go.
All right.
4 successes.
So Caro and Clytius, as you look at these tracks, you can tell that fairly large group of people, maybe 20-ish. But some of the tracks, you can see this kind of like this line kind of joining the footprints, and then you think about it for a second, and that is somebody walking who's been shackled.
Oh, all right. Dragon chains. Gotcha. Slavers, Captain.
I wonder if this behavior is normal around these parts.
Probably not so much, I would say.
Ragnar, you would know both the Asgard and the Vanir, they do take slaves, but they take slaves in combat. You raid a village, you take slaves, but you don't slave for slaving purposes.
Aren't they considered thralls, right?
Yeah, and usually then like the warriors and stuff are ransomed back.
Yeah.
But yeah, slaves are taken as basically prizes of war as opposed to just capturing people for the sake of it.
Yeah, like they're like captured and then forced to put to work for the rest of their days. It's or spoils.
Right. That being said, the Hyperboreans to the kind of further east from Asgard are rampant slavers.
Well, I don't know about you fellas, but I don't like the idea of a bunch of slavers being out here while we're traveling through.
Yeah, not a good idea, really.
I mean, if we're going to run into these guys potentially, I'd rather do it on our terms than theirs, yeah?
Aye. Sounds good.
I suppose.
Well, at the very least, let's figure out what we're dealing with. Claudius, you think you could follow this trail?
Oh, probably easy enough, unless it snows or something.
Yeah, it's a fairly easy trail to follow through the kind of combination of snow and mud.
Ick. Spring.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because it's like at nighttime, it gets just cold enough for the footprints to kind of solidify.
False spring.
Yeah. So yeah, easy enough to follow.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll make our way.
Making our way.
One sec here.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that if we get a jump on them instead of them getting a jump on us down the road, right?
Oh yeah, rather than getting ambushed while we sleep.
Let's ambush them while they sleep.
Exactly.
Whole many zones.
Many zones. So yeah, so you follow the trail, and it leads you to an area. There's a little bit of a river. Some land masses here and there. Judging from the nature of the water, it's probably part of like an underground stream or aquifer that kind of breaks up to the surface and then kind of curves back down. So the water is probably frigidly cold. But it is moving, so it's not solid ice. And yeah, you do see that there are probably about 15 or so people. We got like a little camp set up. They got a couple of prisoners. Looks like they got about 3 prisoners kind of like bound on the ground. Kind of in this area.
Help, help, we're being repressed.
Yeah, it looks like basically an older man, a woman in like her probably mid-20s, and another male looks like he's probably about the same age she is. So, older guy looks like he's maybe like 45-ish, gray hair, very like disheveled, obviously. Gray hair, beard, and then the woman and the younger guy. And you can tell the slavers are definitely Hyperborean. They've got kind of like a little bit of a huskier build, darker hair, cut kind of short.
There's one thing I don't like, it's slavers.
And it looks like they've got two groups that are kind of like posted as sentries to watch anybody that might be approaching the camp, but it looks like they didn't have enough people to basically send their scouts out further.
So are these all mobs?
They are not. If you mouse over them, actually, it should pull up whether they are a slaver or a minion.
No.
Sadly, no.
There you go.
I see slave taker minion 3. Slave taker number 3.
Basically, there's each group is a squad of like 4 minions and a leader.
Huh?
Okay, so there's, 15 guys here?
Yep.
And the time, is the time correct on what you're showing there?
Yeah, and it doesn't really get dark, so
I guess waiting isn't going to help, is it?
I mean, eventually, some of them will undoubtedly like go to sleep, but there is no cover of darkness under which to operate.
Can I leap across the zone?
You can certainly try. It's one of those things where zones aren't really like a defined area, but if you're judging kind of like this this kind of gap across here,
Yeah.
you might be able to
My
try it.
my idea was this bit of area here looks like a bit like a ramp, and then you just take a diving sort of roll onto this little area.
Yep. You can certainly try. It would be an athletics roll.
Okay.
How deep is that water? Like,
Um, it looks like it's probably about waist deep. Waist deep and very cold and moving at a fair clip.
and no real way to cross it over like rocks or.
You could take your time. I mean, there's a couple places here, like over here by the tents, right? I mean, that's fordable.
Can we tell if they have bows or ranged weapons or anything?
I can make an observation check.
Sure.
This map, I
Spend one.
I put this map together using Dungeon Alchemist.
Oh, I get to reroll the 20. That's better.
So yeah, you're kind of looking. Difficulties 2 because of the distance. So 1 momentum. They. What are they armed with? They do not seem to have any ranged weapons. They seem to have basically cudgels and whips. Nothing that would risk killing the merchandise.
Gotcha. So I'll let everybody, well, I'll let the captain know that we've got 2, or well, I guess 5 uh, guards, but they're not equipped for range. So if we sneak up closer to the camp, we can probably get in there without having to fear too much in the way of reprisals from them. Or we can take them out if we can all cross this gap, but I don't know if that's going to be probable for some of us.
I'm thinking we try to sneak in across this ford here.
And there's another fordable looking area here.
If they don't have ranged weapons, they're going to have to come to us. So, but if we can cross in the middle here without being seen, then we should be able to blitz them, I think.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah, I think that's the plan. We're going to try to sneak up and get to this ford here, Chris.
Alrighty. If folks want to give me stealth checks, decide who's going to lead, and the number of successes you generate will determine whether or not they spot you. Basically, like a struggle.
Does anyone have stealth at all?
I've got 1 expertise and 1 focus for a 13.
Oh, that's plenty.
Yeah, you're the dude.
And the rest of us are assisting?
Yep.
I have 1 expertise, 1 focus for 11.
Yeah, I'm at 9.
Wise veterans will give everybody rerolls. They need them. Which they do.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we roll an assist.
Yep. So it's 2, 3. Difficulty 5.
5, I think.
Right.
dun, dun, dun.
So you guys managed to get basically as close as you can before you have to start kind of splashing in the water, in which case stealth won't be possible. This landmass here is actually a bit of a hill. So you can either get up on top if you want, or go around it, or hide around the back of it. But basically, that zone is as close as you can get without them noticing you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Cool.
Well, Ragnar,
Yes, Captain.
would you like to go say hello to our new friends?
I do think I would. As I ready battle axe and shield and my retinue, I'd like to go say hello.
Okay. I'm not going to drop any tokens on the map for your retinue, but they're with you. Alrighty. Moving through the fordable area is going to be a difficulty 1 athletics test.
Ooh. You say athletics. You said difficulty 2?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, difficulty 1.
Difficulty 1. Here we go.
Right. So you do manage to splash through. It does take your standard action to close that distance through the water and everything.
Ooh.
All right.
Oh, moved the wrong guy. There we go.
You can't spend momentum for second standard though.
I think I'll do that. So I can say hello sooner.
Spend some momentum. Claudius is going to get us a bunch.
Well,
Well.
let's hope so.
Where's it? There it is. Going to attack. My mind is not working for me right now.
Oh, apparently some of your guys got caught up in the water. But they did generate 1 success. So you get 2 momentum.
I'm going to use 1 for blood on steel.
Okay.
I'm just going to put the other one into damage.
Okay.
Ciao.
Oof.
Huh.
So that's going to be 9, 10, 11 damage.
He rolled the blank.
I'm going to re-roll the blank.
Okay.
Did they break the dice roller? I keep seeing broken image links.
No, coming up fine for me.
Yeah,
Oh,
see?
okay.
Same here.
So 11 damage. So that's going to kill 2 of them outright.
This'll teach you for preying on Nordheimers.
And slightly wound. Okay. You guys are still up.
Oh, there we go. I guess I will skitter across unless Royer wants to throw some fire at somebody.
No, I'm good for now.
Okay. At this point, Chris, I have Message Runner 1 rank and Born Swimmer 1 rank and Human Spider. So
Yep.
I've got I've got all-terrain difficulty reduced by 1.
Yep. So you don't have to roll to get across.
Nice.
It is still a standard action just because of the distance, though.
Is it? Okay.
Yep. Because you got to go 2 zones.
All right, and I've got out probably my axe and a knife.
Okay. So take your momentum to attack and then swing away.
Yep. I'll spend 1 to get 2.
Generates 1 momentum.
Okay. I'll put that back in the pool. And I'll re-roll the 3 blanks.
So 7, 8.
Uh,
Yeah, because battle axe is vicious.
yeah.
So 8. Oh, ignore that. All right, so yeah, you drop your battle axe into a 1, and then kind of like flip it around and bop another guy in the face. There is 1 guy left in the squad and the leader there.
Yeah, it is intense as well. So if he
Yep.
suffered a wound, he gets another one.
Yeah, intense doesn't carry over through mobs, so.
Oh, right.
All right, that was Clytius. Caro and Rory.
I'm just gonna make my way over there. Try to.
Okay. Difficulty 1, athletics.
I'm gonna spend 3 momentum for fortune
Okay.
because I'm really lucky.
Okay. So maybe the spell bomb.
Oh, that was the 1 success you needed.
My target number is a 7, so.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing anything else.
Okay. All right. So kind of carefully pick your way across.
Very, very carefully. Yeah.
All right. Rory.
Well, with no momentum in the pool, I'm just kind of going to go over to the water edge side and tentatively kind of look and assess my situation until next turn.
Okay. Yeah, like Clytius and Ragnar just like charged across. Captain kind of picked his way across. Like, oh, and you look and like the rocks. They've got that kind of like slick algae covered thing. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, that means me to get lucky where I don't have the skill and I only have 9.
Yeah, I was thinking that Clytius was going to have to roll to go by with a strong back. He'd fill the momentum pool up.
All is well.
All right. However, that was the ambush round, so now you guys are up again. Now the actual combat starts.
Can I take something like a defensive action?
That's more of like a reaction in case somebody decides to attack you.
Okay.
You could ready an action. You'd say like, if somebody starts to come towards me, I attack them or whatever. You can ready an action for when something happens.
Sounds good.
Okay. So you guys charge in the kind of blitzkrieg motion, battle axe to the face, battle axe to the back. The prisoners are, the older guy kind of like closes his eyes and winces at some of it. The female prisoner is just kind of like smiling and nodding. And the younger guy seems to be trying to struggle against his bonds, like he wants to break free to be able to help. You guys are up.
I want to break free.
Do you want to go first, Claudia?
Sure.
It's
I like how you guys share the massacre.
I figure I opened it. I might as well.
after you, sir. No. I insist after
No,
you.
after you. No, after you.
Both with swinging axes. Wait, I think you grabbed mine.
All right. That is a hit.
All right. One momentum.
One moment.
Okay, I'll leave it in the pool for now. Reroll the 2 blanks. Oh, there's the money.
I was going to say, with only 4 physical damage, he almost lived. So yeah, so you kind of swoop that battle axe, you kind of like, it glances off his leg and you just kind of go with it and just like cleave his left arm completely off.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
As one
and
does.
I'll leave one in the pool for whoever goes next.
Okay.
Rory, did you want to try to get over the breach with that?
Nope, I'm good. Keep going.
Excellent. I'll swing into this one then.
Okay.
Before using that, I'll see how my team does. how my crew does, or my retinue does.
Yeah. You have 3 in your retinue, right?
That's 3 or 4. I think one. I don't think I actually
Right. One of them got eaten by the tentacles, but you could have like replaced him during the downtime. So
4. Then I'll do that. Then it's 4.
because I was reading your talent. If they are operating independently of you, they get to roll an extra d20 on all of their melee and parry and so on and so forth. But when they're assisting you, they still only roll 1 die each.
Yeah.
Assist is always 1 die unless your talent specifically says otherwise.
Yeah.
But they do offer you up 4 successes.
Damn. I'm going to. I'll just take that then.
Oh, God.
Do 3 more.
All right.
How
So
much momentum do we have to work with right now?
so that will generate 6.
Cool.
So fill the pool and 1 left.
So 1 is going to Blood on Steel.
Okay.
This guy's been hurt, right?
No, he's basically been like ordering his guys. He's like, get up here, protect me, protect me.
But I'm throwing 3 of that momentum into damage.
Okay.
If he's saying protect me, I want to show him that there is no such luck for him in this world.
There is only death.
Going to re-roll that blank. I tried. That's happened twice now.
Yep. But so 10, and then 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. 16 minus his armor of 1. So yeah, so Clytius basically chops the arm off of his last minion, and you and your gang kind of like stalk towards this slave trader. He kind of like kind of puts up his hands like put, and you just like lop his head off 1 blow.
Mm-hmm.
That will leave us with Caro and Rory.
Rory, you're going to ready in action if those guys get closer? Is that your plan?
Yep, that's the claim.
Okay. Already heed my words after Rory attacks.
Okay. Ready.
Just all sitting around being ready.
Right.
These guys are fucked.
So those guys who are on patrol over in the corner, they come running around like kind of like, getting their weapons at the ready. They're gonna charge in amongst probably Clytius is a little bit closer to them.
Yeah, bring it.
Yeah, once they get in the zone, my ready action should go.
Yep. Rory, are you throwing something at them, or are you waiting until they get a little closer?
No, waiting to be successful, so closer.
Okay. All right, so go ahead there, Caro.
Come get some, you filthy scrubs.
This entire time, Ragnar is like he's not laughing, but he has the biggest grin on his face. Been too long since he's shed blood. Been what, like a month or so since our escapades?
Yep.
That'll do.
I mean, if you think no one dies during the carousing phase, you might be sadly mistaken, my friend.
He's too drunk to remember he was too drunk to remember if anybody died in the carousing phase.
How much overflow do we get?
None. That would just fill it.
Okay. I'll use 2 momentum for damage.
I remember one carousing phase in the last town where we literally almost burned down the entire town and had to leave.
8 piercing, 2, 4, 6. Stun an area.
Oh, these guys are resolute. They have a resolve of 5.
Yeah. Wow.
8, do you say?
8 piercing, 6. Yeah.
It is not quite enough to cause a second trauma on their leader.
I'll spend a momentum, reroll the blanks.
Okay.
You'll only die tired.
9. Oh, an extra stun as well.
Yeah. So they will. I mean, they in their stagger. They kind of run around this corner, getting their whips at the ready, and they're like, "Oh shit!" They see the carnage. I imagine they kind of come around the bend as like the leader's head is still kind of like slow-mo falling to the ground, and then
Yeah.
Caro kind of bellows at them, and they just take off. They are out of the fight.
Clytius does the axe spin to clean the blood off and ready to swing again.
They come around and they're like, nope, and they're just like, I'm out.
Nope. Perfect.
These guys, what are these guys doing? They have no ranged weapons.
It seems like a real lack of forethought on their part.
Weren't ready for resistance, I don't think.
Yeah, it seems like they specifically came prepared to beat filthy peasants black and blue, but nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So they're gonna like carefully that gap that Clytius was looking at jumping. They're gonna like kind of carefully pick their way through that, kind of closing in on Rory's position. But that is the extent of their action. Back around to you guys.
Well, I'm just going to untie our prisoners.
Okay.
I will now use some momentum to navigate forward to get to my comrade.
So you're basically going to try to lead these slave takers on like a merry little like go around the circle sort of thing.
Come and get me, come and get me, come. La 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 la.
Gotcha.
You can't get me.
I don't know about you, Claes. I'm perfectly willing to just let them come to us.
Yeah, I was thinking about how to get a tent so I could pop out and stab one.
I was thinking of just letting Berkey take pot shots.
Try not to discourage them too much.
All right, athletics, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, I am going to, for shits and giggles, I'm going to spend. I think I'll take 2 from the momentum pool. Maybe I'll get really super lucky and generate some.
It's funny how a difficulty 1 test is nerve-wracking sometimes.
Well, you do make it across and generate a momentum in the process.
And generated a complication.
Complication. I don't know what would be a good complication. I'll just take 2.
Yes, doing.
But you do manage to pick your way across. You see the slave takers realizing that they're probably going to be chasing you, or start looking around for some like, good sized rocks that they could maybe throw to bash in a skull or 2 before they close. But you do manage to make it across over to your comrades. And Kara was untying people.
Yep.
Okay.
I will help Kara with that endeavor.
Okay. And that will leave us with Clytius and Ragnar.
Ragnar is simply going to say, Berkey, Althea over here said that your aim's getting a little, rusty. Do you want to prove her wrong?
I'm just gonna take cover in this tent and hide.
It's Claudius. He's not hiding, he's looting.
Yeah.
Hiding my ass.
You mean finding the things and hiding?
That's right, he's freeing all that treasure.
So Berkey lets fire, and as he fires, you hear like this, like twang. And he's like, "Greg,
You hate to see it, huh?
I knew I should have bought a new bow."
Can I just hand him mine?
Sure. What type of bow do you have?
It's just a longbow.
Oh, he will be happy to take a longbow. Much
No,
better, much better than his close range hunting bow.
It is a hunting bow, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I thought I had a longbow, I had a hunting bow.
All right. So Clytius, you duck into the tent. You can't really hide per se because they know that you're around. But there are some supplies here in the tent, like some like food, water, basic survival supplies, and what looks to be a couple of weapon belts, like sword, tower shield, a couple of spears, that sort of thing. Anything else, Ragnar?
That's it. I'm just gonna wait for them to come to us. I'll just, try see if I can put me and my men in between, say, their rocks and the captain.
Well, they could.
The shield wall.
Okay. So as they kind of like, you know, start to give chase momentarily, and then they see, you know, you guys kind of form up. The prisoners are, and they kind of all look at one another, and then the guy that seems to be in charge is like, not worth it. And they are going to instead, yeah, just like taking off in a run away from you guys.
Tell your friends exactly what happened here.
Well, that was fun.
Survivors? Shame. At least we got their stuff.
Ragnar, you want to get your crew to maybe put the end to those folks that ran up to the north. We'll let that group to the west just run off and tell their friends.
Sure. You heard of men? Let's go hunting.
So yeah, in very short order, you and your men can basically run down these escapees.
Excellent. I didn't hear the captain say if he wanted them alive or not, so we're going to kill every single one of them.
Yeah, Clytius can get behind that.
Caro does not have a strong opinion one way or the other.
Excellent.
Meh.
I mean, you don't listen when I say take prisoners anyway, so.
He gives them a chance, but if they don't immediately surrender, he kills them.
So these prisoners, what languages do they speak?
They speak Nordheimer.
Yay, so do I.
Oh, perfect.
So yeah, so as you're kind of helping them, you do notice the older gentleman is missing his left arm from about like kind of just below his shoulder down.
Recent or?
No, it looks like it's been quite some time. Like it's fully healed, such as it is.
Right.
Wow, someone got lucky.
Like, oh, if I'm lucky, damn creature that ate it choked to death. I'm Olaf, by the way.
Oh, well, I'm Rory.
This is and he kind of introduces the woman. He's like, this is Hakatla, and this is Bali.
Excellent. Pleased to meet you.
We thank Ymir for timely intervention.
Oh, you're most welcome. I think the lads had fun.
Lousy slavers. If we hadn't run afoul of some bandits earlier and had the full guard, I think we would have been better off. But there's only so much that the three of us could do.
So what brings you out here?
Okay. And Halkatla is kind of like scuffs. She's like chasing myths and legends. And Olaf kind of looks at her and says, like, you know, he kind of gives her that, like, shh, be quiet type of look. It's like, we're hunting. You know, seeing what we might be able to find. And
Well, perhaps it is something we could assist you with.
he kind of looks, and the Hakatla and Bali have basically gone into the tent where Clytius is, and have basically are in the process of reclaiming their weapons.
Cool.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, but Olaf kind of looks you over and says like, well, I'm not gonna lie, could certainly use a strong sword arm. And whatever it is the two of you do. I mean, you seem
Well,
impressive.
yes, the captain, Caro, by the way, he is he's quite a strong personality.
Oh, that could probably come in handy.
More importantly, I'm pretty.
It certainly served him very well as a captain.
Military captain or ship captain?
Ship captain. So he's still trying to find his land legs.
Oh, well,
Yeah, it's a thing. The other fellow here that with the sword is Clytius.
Yeah, Clytius is going to assume that anything that they didn't take is salvage and start packing it up.
yeah, so basically, primarily supplies, a couple extra pairs of shackles, things like that. The weapons that were in here seem to be theirs.
Okay. Yeah, just anything they didn't take, we might as well take.
Because that's what we do.
Is there a helmet?
We have a cart.
Oh, look, a boot. We'll take that.
You never know when you might find the other one.
It's only one boot, but it'll fit in the cart. We'll take it with us.
And it looks, and
Pretty sure I could kill somebody with a boot if I had to.
he looks at Ragnar. It's like, you're from Asgard, right? And you do notice that his hair is gray, but both Bali and Katla are very, very blonde and definitely Asgardian.
Born and raised.
Bree briefly went to stay with his auntie and uncle in Bel Air.
And he sees, Clytius basically like looting everything. He's like, I take it you're not the sort that are going to turn your noses up at a little bit of thievery.
Nope.
To us? No.
What are they talking about, Rory? I know that word in every language. They calling us thieves? Or?
Oh no, they were just letting us entertain the idea that if we were to accompany them on a potentially fun and dangerous journey, that we would not object to some thievery.
Captain, they're trying to
Oh,
hire us.
certainly not.
I'm not a thief. I am an opportunistic looter.
Yes, you've made that very clear, Claudius. What is this endeavor? Do you know yet?
We're going to get some details here.
Ah,
All right, so what kind of a thing are we looking at here? Because like I said, we don't have any problem with thievery. We don't have any problem with killing things. Hell, we don't even have problems if there's some kind of undead involved.
No
We
monkeys.
fought worse. Trust us.
That was my roundabout way of just trying to say we're not against the idea of tomb robbing.
So Olaf kind of like kicks over her body, kind of like, grabs the wineskin off the body. He looks at Ragnar. He's like, did your parents ever tell you about the horn?
I don't know, Chris. Did my parents ever tell me about the horn?
You can make a lore roll.
Sure. This is when I embarrass myself in my own home.
The Horn of Valhalla?
Can I assist him?
You would need a little bit more information.
I think they come in brass,
He's one momentum.
silver, and iron.
Oh, look at that.
Must be a powerful legend.
So you kind of think about it for a second, and the only horn really that comes to mind um, is the onyx horn of Herolf, the one of the early kings of the Asgard. It's a drinking horn, said to be carved from the horn of a giant auroch, coated in black lacquer, bound in gold. It is, or was, kind of the symbol of kingship amongst the Asgardians. But it's been missing. Stories say it was stolen by the Vanir before you were born.
What would you want with the onyx horn?
It's like you have heard of it. I found it.
Found it.
Well, not it exactly, but I know where it is, and that's what our expedition was after.
Oh. Well, that's news. Like if that were to if such a thing were to be uncovered, that would hell you could practically win over a nation with that.
I've been searching for it for a long time. I caught wind of tales of it in a tavern in Corinthia, of all places.
That is very much out of the way.
Well, stories of treasure tend to spread far and wide. So, did some checking with some contacts of mine through various, let's call them guild associates. I found out that the horn never left Nordheim. The Vanir have it. The temple in the town of Jormunshalt. So I was going to make my way there. Hired on a few folks when I disembarked. But we've run into some trouble along the way.
I can tell.
But if we can acquire the horn, I mean, obviously it's important to us. But I'm sure the king would richly compensate the rest of you.
I see logic in your words. Let me consult the captain.
Certainly.
And I'm just gonna bring all of that information to Caro.
Well, what's the cultural significance of this particular horn?
If this horn were to be returned to Asgard, it goes back to one of our earliest kings. For it to be back in Asgard hands would be huge for our people. It's practically I would almost consider it a founding relic.
Well, that sounds expensive then.
Very. We would be very handsomely compensated for such a thing.
Would it be safe to assume that whatever dishonor your family and yourself have gathered, if you return home with this horn, that would be stricken off your record?
It would probably help, yes.
All right, let's go find a horn. How hard could it be? Probably no Krakens around.
I mean, we don't normally work on spec, but if it means so much to Ragnar, I guess we could. Maybe this one time.
Well, we're making this whole trip to make sure that Ragnar gets his shit in order with his family and his country. We could find
Yeah,
a way
sure.
to make that go easier, the faster we can get back to our galley.
Aye, and there's no cracking around.
There is no cracking around.
There's a
Right, so where's this thing?
the it's in the mountains, still a couple of days away from here. Small village called Jormunshalt. There's a temple to Ymir there. Mercenary that I talked to in Corinthia said that one of the treasures of the temple houses is a magnificent drinking horn of black and gold, fashioned with skill beyond that of mortal men.
How big is this village or town?
The town itself, not large, maybe a couple hundred people. The temple itself is on a hill that overlooks the village. So really, all we need to do is surmount the hill, break into the temple, steal the horn, and disappear before anybody knows that we're there.
Sounds easy enough.
Oh, yes, we're very good at stuff.
My plan was to arrive at the village during the Feast of Vingut. Without the cover of the feast, we would be noticed. But with the feast happening, different tribes and clans come from all around, so nobody's going to notice some strangers. There's probably going to be... The information I got from the mercenaries said that the temple was guarded, but not heavily guarded, relying more upon isolation than physical guard presence. We'll know more once we actually get a sight on it, but I believe there shouldn't be any more than a dozen temple guards. And I think many of them will be preoccupied ensuring that the festivities don't get out of hand.
As our
Oh, I'm
northern-
sure we can come up with something.
The temple itself, year-round, houses only 4 priests. I've heard that one of them is blind, one of them is a drunkard, and the other, let's just say that he is lecherous. So I believe the drunkard and the lech will be occupied with festivities. So there may only be 2 priests at the temple.
So, Blind Fury, Drunken Master.
I believe him to be blind and mostly feeble.
Wow, sounds almost too good to be true.
That is why I had brought some hired hands just in case.
Always a good bet.
Well, speaking of hired hands, how do we go about distributing the loot in this particular venture?
Well, the only loot would be the horn. I don't think it's wise to steal anything else that may be in the temple. I'm superstitious that way. The horn was stolen and is not rightfully theirs, but anything else was duly given to Ymir, and I would not take the Frost God's anger.
No, that would be very unwise.
But
Well, then we have a single item. How do we go about ensuring it's profitable for everyone then?
well, we will return it to the king, King Colhair. He's a good man. He's honorable. It's the right thing to do. But it is also the right thing to offer to sell it back to him.
Profit.
Right. So I'd like to make a bit of a bargain with this little venture, if I might. We'll help you acquire this horn, and the only thing we ask in return is that my good friend Ragnar here gets to pass the horn over to the king when the time comes. You can all be present. We all can be present, however that works out, but I want Ragnar to be the one holding it.
It is a matter of honor.
Certainly. I have no problem. My life's work has been acquiring the horn. I don't really care who hands it over. I just want to see that it's returned.
Well, all I know is that your people put a great deal of stock in stories. And if there's a song to be sung, I'd like that song to be sung about my friend Ragnar.
I have no problem with this. With the understanding, of course, that all of us, any kind of nods to his two compatriots, gain a share of the undoubted fortune that the king will bestow upon us.
Equal shares all around. How's that sound, gentlemen?
Agreed.
We're not on a ship, so we don't get an extra. All right. Let's go steal a horn.
Alrighty. So yeah, you guys basically travel on for a few more hours until you need to make camp. You're still probably like 4 or 5 days from the Blue Mountains. You do notice that of your compatriots, Olaf is very outgoing. He's more than willing to answer any questions that you may have. Although you do notice that each time he gets the opportunity to tell the story of how he lost his arm, it is slightly and sometimes entirely different. It got taken by a ferocious cat in the Black Kingdoms to the south. Got lopped off by a skeletal warrior in a pyramid in Stygia. Got fed to a crocodile in the deserts of Koth. His stories are always different about how he lost his arm, but there is enough detail in those stories for you guys who have traveled to know that he has in fact traveled to these locales.
Ragnar's simply like whenever he changes his story, Ragnar is simply going to he's gonna be like, I grew up with a young skald that it kind of reminds me of you. You kind of remind me of him. His name was Dag Niflson. And it's like every time he told the story of the raid that he went on with his father, the spoils get bigger. But it's always entertaining.
And the other thing you notice over the time as you travel is that Halkatla and Bali, she seems to be instructing him in swordsmanship and shield work and all of that sort of thing. She is most assuredly a warrior. Quite probably one of the fabled shield maidens that you've heard of. But over the course of a couple of days, you realize that that Bali is her younger brother, younger by like 5 or 6 years, sort of thing, and she's basically, this is like his first mercenary job, and she's kind of showing him the ropes and training him. But both of them are quite skilled.
Cool.
The truly frightening thing that Clytius and Ragnar would notice watching her fight is the way that she uses her shield to just like savagely attack.
I like it.
So, like the shields are primary.
Yeah, like the shield. The shield is very much a primary weapon. Uh, the fighting style seems to be like knock somebody prone with the shield, stab them in the face, bash them with the shield, slit their throat.
I like it.
Uh,
Ragnar
My kind of
admires
way.
it.
Shield maidens have an ability, so they if they successfully attack with their shield, they get a free attack with their other weapon.
Oh, nice.
So attack with the shield, free attack with the other weapon. Second,
Secondary attack with the shield.
yep. So 4 attacks at
Gross.
once.
Remind me not to piss her off.
Yeah. And yeah, and she seems to be like basically training her brother in the same fighting style. And
Cool.
watching the two of them, you guys are like, yeah, okay.
I thought I was a savage when it come to my fighting style.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like grace or elegance. It is a lot of brutality and slashing and hacking.
I'm all for this. This is very amusing.
Yeah. And of course, Olaf is like, I remember when I was capable of wielding a shield. Back before that damn lizard took my arm. Hope the damn thing chokes to death on it.
Yeah, during the travels, Carol will just absorb as much of Asgardian culture as he can, right?
Yep.
Just get used to like the skalds and the jarls and all the terms and
Yep.
Probably being amongst other Asgardians, Ragnar is like fully opened up here. Like he's in his element now.
So yeah, they are more than happy to kind of fill you in on the ins and outs of society, and you can kind of equate things like, okay, there's a chieftain, there's a jarl, there's the house warriors, there's the skald, kind of figuring out how everything goes. You realize now, like when you were back in the village, that none of the villages or anything that you find are going to have anything like a tavern or an inn.
Oh no.
You're
no.
That being said, though, when you arrive in a new village or town, you are expected to present yourself to the chieftain, who's usually like that big kind of central home that you saw near the market. And the chieftain, it is the chieftain's job to offer you hospitality. So it's his job to make sure that you are fed and have drink and a bed to sleep and so on and so forth. It is literally his job to take care of guests. And then they go into the various assorted grotesque punishments levied upon those who break hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it is enough of a grounding so that on any future society roles interacting with Nordheimers, there won't be any sort of difficulty increase.
Yeah, I got a talent for that. I'm just justifying it.
Yep. They also tell you the legend of the Blue Mountains, which is, according to legend, Ymir, the frost giant god, once fought a dragon and killed it by hurling a giant stone at it. The dragon's corpse, where it laid, eventually became the Blue Mountains that divide Vanaheim and Asgard. And the stone that he threw is the foundation of Jormunshalt, which is why there is a temple to him there.
Yeah, I'm not big on stealing from temples, but I mean, this horn doesn't belong there, so.
Exactly. The way Olaf puts it is the horn was stolen in battle and can rightfully be stolen back. Any treasure and everything are gifts to Ymir and must not be stolen.
Yeah, no, we're not pissing off a god.
Yeah, Mimir's wrath is known to be cold.
Everything's gold.
All right.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But after 4 or 5 days of traveling, um, again, relatively desolate. Periodically, you find an encampment with some like some nomadic tribes that are moving, and as you get closer and closer to the mountains, this seems to be the norm. You don't encounter any permanent villages or permanent towns, but you do come across these nomad camps that are traveling the plains. And as you get closer to the mountain, it definitely gets colder and it definitely gets snowier. It is quite unpleasant most of the time. There's mornings when you get up and you're getting ready to break camp, and the wind is just blowing the snow so hard that everybody's just like, let's just let this see if it passes us. To which Olaf and them are like, oh, it's not quite as bad as it'll be up in the mountains. But you look like hardy folks.
Really? Well, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. It's a
I
bit
was,
of an exaggeration, I understand, but
well, it helps to keep you. If it helps to buoy your spirits, then I'm sure sailing on a ship you've sailed through worse.
it was a little bit warmer, but we do have tales to tell. I mean, my understanding is telling tales in your culture is an important business. We'll tell you some stories along the way. I think you'll be entertained.
We should tell them about the Elder God.
Well, we got to
We really
work up to
shouldn't.
the elder god.
We can skip that.
I'd say probably just start with where we started when you tell the story.
I
Especially if
do
we
have a
don't
good
have.
story called Tebian's Cowardice. Maybe we'll start on that one.
Fair.
That's fine. I'm down with that.
You talk about the
Mm.
monks.
The mummies or the monkeys?
Well, both, but the monkeys. Certainly the monkeys.
No monkeys.
Claudius doesn't like that story.
Yes, but it's a fun one.
But yeah, he'll practice some scalding as we make our trip. I think scalds are the birds, right?
They are. All right. So after the better part of a week, you guys have put sizable distance between you and the coast. Your horses and your cart are holding up quite well as you start to move into the foothills of the Blue Mountains. After about maybe half a day or so, and it is very disconcerting to realize that there's no proper nightfall in which to sleep. But as you kind of edge a little bit more and more northerly, following a path up into the mountains, periodically you can see these like bluish, green, pinkish lights in the sky, bright enough that even under the light of the sun, you can still see these the aurora. So some truly breathtaking vistas for those of you that have never, you know, never really been off a boat or have spent much time on land.
I imagine the quiet would be crazy, right?
It is there's the howling of wind, and every once in a while you can hear the distant howling of wolves and other creatures. But other than that, it is quiet.
Yeah, boats are loud, right? There's all kinds of sounds coming from a boat.
Yeah.
It'd just be weird, I think.
I, I've
No lanterns, right?
never seen so much gray and white in my life.
Like it'd just be dark, dark. Well, I guess it doesn't get dark, but it just spooky. Like if you've never left the town, being in which a ship is like a community, right?
Which is it? Like even when a ship is quiet, there's still the lapping of the water and the creaking of the ropes and the boards and everything. There's
Yeah,
not
there's
this.
lots going on there.
Yeah, there's not this stillness.
Missed this.
Don't like it, Captain. There's no wind.
Oh no, there's plenty of wind, and it's a cold, biting wind when it happens.
No, it's not proper wind.
But as you kind of crest through like the lower mountains, and again, these are mountains, not mere hills, but there are little like goat paths and the like that your sure-footed mounts can maneuver, and they're every once in a while you have to stop and kind of take a look to find one that is wide enough for your cart. And you kind of crest over and down in a little valley, probably still, like 3 or 4 kilometers away, but you guys are up high enough that you have kind of a vantage point looking down through the low cloud cover. You can see a very prominent stone rises probably some 200 feet above the kind of the snowy canyon floor. At this distance, you can make out that there is a structure on top of that, and at the base of that stone, there are a bunch of tents. You can see like the curling smoke of fires and several tents. If you're seeing them at distance, those are probably fairly large tents, probably like family or communal tents as opposed to like individual. And Olaf is like, nah, that's Jormunshalt. And that's the temple up on top of the stone.
There's no civilization up here at all, is there?
He kind of points towards Jormunshalt.
Wow. All right. Well, I guess. Well, what was the thing that we just wait for a festival or something?
The festival should be going on about now. It lasts for about a week or so. So take advantage of their distraction and their drunkenness and their rowdiness.
Well, all right. We'll just wait where they can't see us, and then when everyone's good and pissed, I guess we'll just stroll on in, shall we? Unless anyone's got a different plan.
Nope.
All right.
So you guys make your way, a little bit closer at the very least. And I will get probably Clytius as your best observation to give me an observation check.
Can I give him a hand with it?
Yeah, sure can. I will assume that you guys probably brought the spyglass from Tebian as well.
I would think so.
Ooh, I have a spyglass now? Cool.
Yeah, Tebian had picked one up, so I assume that you guys probably kept it when he went ashore to do research.
Well, yeah, he's not coming back on a boat again.
So what's a spyglass give me?
It lowers the difficulty to see things at a distance. So it's difficulty 1 instead of difficulty 2.
Okay.
I can't re-roll, but I'm just waiting to see if I need to.
I'll spend one. I get to reroll one of those.
You can reroll both.
Ooh. Ooh, there's the money.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that's good.
All right. So yeah, you guys kind of find a vantage point. You kind of like passing the spyglass back and forth. And you can see that, that stone temple is probably like on top of the rocky small mountain that sits on. It's probably about 200 feet off the floor of the canyon. There is a path that is kind of runs around it to the top. If you've ever played Skyrim, it's like the path of 1,000 steps or whatever it's called.
Mm,
Um,
the path to High Hrothgar.
that's the one. So there is a marked path that leads up to the top to the temple. Clytius, you're pretty sure you could climb it, rather than taking the path if you had to. You're not so sure about everybody else. You do see there are a couple of like pilgrims kind of going up and down the path. Other than that, it does look like there's basically amongst the tents. It's like whatever sort of like drunken festival you want to envision.
Gotcha.
There are like the fires burning and like boars roasting and people drinking and dancing and it's just like having a grand old time at the bottom of this. The centerpiece to the festival seems to be a large carved effigy of a dragon. That's basically kind of like the head is leering down from the top of a pole in the center of the feast area. You do see that there are red splotches, the rocks, kind of at the bottom of the temple, and then you kind of look up a little bit and you see there is like a little bit of an overhang almost directly over the red splotch.
Oh shit.
The drums beating, all that. Other than that, if you have any questions, you can spend momentum.
Well, I've got one for free.
Yep.
Does it look like I could climb up there without being observed? Or no?
Probably. I mean, a lot of that would kind of depend on the kind of like drunkenness and festivities going on.
Yeah, I just meant
Yeah.
from like the angles.
But yeah, from the angles, like somebody would have to specifically be looking in that direction to see you. It's not
Gotcha.
directly in the line of sight of the village. There's there's like you would have to approach it from the southern side as opposed to the northern side, which faces the village. But yeah, unless you did something to draw attention, you could probably scale it unnoticed.
Okay. Does that count as my free one?
Yes.
All right, cool. What else do we need to know? I guess active guards.
Kind of train up, and it looks like the temple at the top. There is like a little bit of a palisade around it, and there are 2 guards stationed outside the gate to the inner temple.
Okay. Anybody think of anything else? That seems like enough for me to go on.
Yeah, can't think of anything. seems like the town's having a carousing phase.
Oh, very much like that, yes. And you estimate that there is probably 100 or 200 people at this festival?
Yeah, so I mean, if something goes down, there's going to be a heck of a lot of fight.
Yep.
But I can probably climb up there if we have to, or if we need to. Also, it looks like they make people walk the plank.
Ragnar, you would hazard a guess that those are probably how they handle sacrifices to Ymir.
I would posit that.
Oof.
Sacrificial plank.
All right, then.
Mm,
I didn't know this was that kind of town.
The temple.
yeah, it's a kind of a god thing.
There are no good gods in the Conan world.
Yeah, we're getting that.
Some are better than others, though.
Marginally. Crom is probably the best because the Sumerians are like, man, Crom doesn't care. He's given you everything that you need to survive, and then you die, and that's it. Done. But yes, it does look like sneaking up the back if you could climb it. It's like 200 feet. Would be feasible. There are, if you make your way up the path, there are 2 guards at the entryway to the inner temple. Judging by the festivities going on, and you do notice, I mean, they are predominantly Vanir, but you do see various assorted others. Like Olaf said, you know, if it wasn't for the festivities happening, strangers would probably stand out a lot more. But with the festivities happening, there's more people, more of the nomadic tribes and stuff have kind of joined in. So
So if he went up the back, could we like lower a rope to pull people up, kind of deal?
you would need about 200 feet of rope.
Yeah.
I brought some rope.
Yep.
I don't know if I have 200 feet of rope.
It's certainly viable. I mean, people would still need to climb, but the climbing would be easier with the rope.
Yeah, I just trying to see if we're doing difficulty, what difficulty level it would be, kind of deal. That we think anyway.
Climbing the cliff would be climbing the cliff without making noise would be difficulty 3.
And then the rope, if we had one, would make it 2.
Yep.
I don't think we have enough athletics to do that.
No. That sounds like death.
Well, while you guys decide, I'm gonna take a brief pause, bio break, all that fun stuff.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Perfect, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Alrighty.
Sam,
strategic tragedy.
Alrighty. So yes, you guys kind of wait until the festivities kind of hit their peak revelry.
Go for it, go for it, go for it.
Right. So our plan is to collectively make our way up to the temple to make a rather substantial donation.
We're playing the money truck scam.
Because we all have lots of gold.
I don't have an actual map of the temple, but there's a little bit of a camp outside. So, all right. So, are you making your way up the path?
Don't own tokens, or I don't own a token here. Ah, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, I mean the camp is much bigger than this map, but just in case shit hits the fan.
20 of these kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our intent is to pose as pilgrims.
Okay.
To go to the temple just like the pilgrims did. And we're going to, because we all have 20 plus gold on us, we're going to.
We do?
We should.
Okay.
I do anyway.
As do I.
Yeah, we're going to offer a big donation to, we want to give it to the temple, and this is the scheme, like have one of the priests lead us around and show us the place, and, be all in awe about how sanctified this place is, the significance of the rock and all that kind of jazz.
Okay. All right. So as you pick your way through the camp, it's fairly easy if you need to grab a cloak to throw over your blonde hair or anything like that. It is just like drunken debauchery everywhere. Over there's a guy just walks up to somebody else and punches him in the face, and a brawl breaks out. And over there, there's seems to be various people that are it looks like there's a couple of people that are roasting boar, and they're kind of bragging over whose is better and enticing people to come over and try theirs and that sort of thing. Like a huge Viking tailgating party.
That kind of place.
I like this town, yeah. All right, if I don't need to scale the cliff, I guess I'll mingle.
Okay. So yeah, it is basically for
a really cold tortage.
Yeah. It is very reminiscent, and for the first time in a long while, you kind of feel at home amongst these people.
Yeah, these guys aren't so bad.
Yeah,
I told you.
The same sort of like anything may goes. Drink until you can't stand upright anymore, and then get up in the morning and start again. Sort of festivities.
Yeah, no one's killing each other.
No. I mean, there's a bunch of brawling happening, but nothing with weapons.
Yeah, it's like being home. It's awesome.
But that being said, pretty much everybody here in the encampment is armed.
Yeah, they're ready.
Yeah. And you do see, although they're not carrying them, most of them aren't carrying them. You do see kind of propped up against some of the tents, hunting bows and the like. But most of the people just wandering around the camp are just lightly armed with like a sword and a knife and maybe a shield on their back, sort of thing.
Yeah, we shouldn't stand out too much then.
Yeah, you don't stand out at all. People are like pressing mugs of mead and ale into your hands as you go by, and snag a piece of roast beef off of this table here, and you do see there are the as nomadic families have come in, so there are some children running around playing games and so on and so forth. It is definitely a community engaged in a festivity.
Like,
Love it here.
But it's very easy to make your way to the winding path that goes up to the temple proper. Are you guys bringing your horse and cart, or are you leaving it parked someplace?
can it fit on the thing?
Doesn't scream fast getaway to me if we're not planning to loot the place.
I would just leave it somewhere, right? Take the stuff we need.
Yep. The cart will the cart will definitely fit on the path if you so choose.
Would it be weird to bring a cart up the path?
You haven't seen anybody else, but you also haven't seen anybody else here with anything resembling a mount or a cart or anything.
Yeah, we'll just tie it up somewhere. I mean, no, these people aren't thieves, right?
I would suggest, though, maybe we should have Ragnar's boys kind of just keep an eye on it.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, if we're not planning to fight, then we can stand to leave a few back.
Exactly.
So to say, you three stay with the cart. Berkey, you're coming with us.
Of course.
And try to stay somewhat sober.
As I say, don't drink too much.
He kind of like puts down the mug that he was quaffing from.
You can still drink, just not too much.
That was my third already.
I mean, that's what we need Logan to do is get
Well, it'd be rude not to sample one of each.
Yes. If this one has a different aroma, try that one.
And you make your way up the path is it's not terribly steep, but it is long because it kind of winds around this 200-foot tall hill. But eventually, after probably takes you 10 or 15 minutes to get up to the top, and there are some other pilgrims on the way. They don't seem to be. They don't like the conversations you overhear aren't necessarily of a religious bent, more of a this is what we do bent. And after about 10-ish minutes, you arrive at the summit of this hill, and you can see there is a little bit of a palisade that leads into the inner temple, and there are 2 guards posted outside.
And what are the other pilgrims doing?
The other pilgrims just seem to basically they make their way up to the top, and then they exchange pleasantries with the guards and say, I'm here to make an offering to Ymir, and then they are, the gates of the inner temple open and they go inside. They're not escorted in or anything.
We will do the same thing.
Did we ever find out what Ymir is supposed to be the god of?
It's like the king of the frost giants, pretty much.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Very cold.
Yeah, he is not so much a god of anything, he's just a god. They don't
Pretty
really
Him
Yeah.
in our actual mythology.
yeah, they don't they don't have like a kind of a delineation of duties.
It's like
Yeah,
the
it's
main
just
thing
more
that's
of a-
related to them is cold winters.
Offerings not to piss them off, kind of thing.
Pretty much.
And as you guys are making your way up, Clytius, since you have sharp senses, you do hear kind of echoing cheers coming from the festivities below. You hear people, they're like, Rorik, Rorik, and then like cheers and chants, and the drumming kind of picks up a pace. And you kind of, as you look down, you see a very tall warrior riding an actual warhorse. Polished chainmail, wrapped in furs, very ornate broadsword strapped to his back. very, very thick gold and silver armbands, just like a mountain of a man on this horse.
Looks like a good distraction.
And he kind of enters, and he's flanked by his guard, also mounted on war horses, dressed similarly but not quite as finely. And yeah, it seems to be some sort of celebrity or something that has shown up at this festivity.
I'm gonna look at the captain and go, that one. I want to throw that one off the sacrifice plank.
Well, that one's riding a horse that costs as much as our caravel.
Huh?
War horses are like 30 gold.
If we throw him off the sacrifice plank, we can take it.
I don't know. He looks bigger than you.
Gravity doesn't care.
You're not throwing anyone off the plank. You're here for a horn.
Yeah.
So the guards open the door to the temple grounds, and inside, as the gates open, you see a wooden building. Kind of think for a second to realize that this wood would have had to have been carted from hundreds of miles away, probably. Decorated with basically carvings in the wooden walls, showing a bearded giant battling these winged demons and dragons. The temple itself has 2 wings, and 3 entrances. None of the entrances to the temple itself are guarded. And you guys are basically, the guards open up the gate to allow you entrance to the temple grounds, and then they close the gate behind you. And you do see some of the other pilgrims that have made their way up, kind of making their way to the center door, where they are greeted by 2 priests who take their offerings. You guys aren't close enough to overhear any exchange or anything, but there seems to be like an exchange of blessings, probably. So the pilgrims aren't admitted into the temple itself. They basically drop their offerings off to the priests at the door.
Is there any indication that there's a watchtower or a signal tower or a bell or?
There does not seem to be, no.
All right, we'll approach the priests like the pilgrims did.
So yeah, as you get a little bit closer, you can see the 2 priests that are receiving the offerings. One of them is an older man, stooped a little bit, gray bearded. His eyes are completely white. And then there's a younger priest that seems to be assisting him. Like this older blind priest seems to be the one who accepts the blessing. And the younger priest is basically just there to make sure that, everything goes well, and, to help him maneuver around and stuff.
Chris, does it look like there's any way to get around these priests in a sneaky way?
Not through this main door, no. Like the door is maybe 8 feet wide, and there's the 2 of them just standing in the doorway.
Well, as we break off, I'm gonna probably slip away to one side.
Okay.
And start circling the building.
Okay. Give me a stealth roll, and difficulty is 3.
3, huh? Ooh.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of cover, but there are other pilgrims that you can kind of use to block view, sort of thing.
I will spend a fortune and a momentum.
Okay. All right, so the rest of you kind of, wait your turn in the queue, as it were. Clytius, you break off and you see that there are basically there's the center door where the priests are receiving the donations and the tribute, and then each wing has a door. So there's a door to the left and a door to the right that are kind of on the ends of the building, so not in direct line of sight of anybody.
Nice. When I come around to one of those, I will see about making my way inside, unless I hear any kind of disturbance from the front.
All right. So the rest of you make your way up to the two priests. And the older priest, kind of looks vaguely in your direction. You can tell he probably heard your footsteps enough to kind of cock his head in your direction. Thank you for coming to the festival. You have tribute for Ymir?
I do. A great tribute. And he'll go into kind of a big spiel about how he's a foreigner, he's far away, he's extremely interested in the stories that are told by the skalds of this area, and it feels blessed to be in this particular place. Really, he's just trying to give Claudius time to do what he's doing. I will offer him up 5 gold, though.
Right. So he kind of listens for things. Says, You're from the south, but I can't place exactly where, but all are welcome today.
Are we welcome within the temple?
Unfortunately, no. Only the children of Van are permitted to step foot upon the temple grounds.
Could you tell me more about these children of Van?
That would be Ragnar.
Ragnar is not, actually.
Oh, he's from Asgard, right? Never mind.
Yeah, again, basically, I'm just trying to use my strength of personality to let Claudius loot the place.
Yep. Buying him some time.
Yeah.
Do.
So he will basically take a fair bit of joy in explaining kind of the mythological history of the formation of Vanaheim and Asgard. And, how there were these two brothers, and they, each had their families, and they lived in separate areas. And he kind of goes on in a excruciating amount of detail.
Perfect.
And Karo is skilled enough to know when to nod at the right time and know when to kind of prod for a little bit more information, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, he's this skull thing might be something he could do, so he's trying to get these stories.
Excellent. There's an entire Scald talent tree.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yep, and I think it falls under society.
I was looking at it. I can't remember if it's society or...
Oh, it might be council, maybe. But yes, definitely enough. And you can tell the people in the queue behind you, some of them are getting, a little bit like, come on, hurry up. I want to get back to the party. But some of them are also interjecting what they know. Gives you kind of a sense that there are some people that are here because it's expected, and some people are here because it is more spiritual to them.
Bard is personality.
There we go.
And there's a lot of them.
Yes. All right, Clytius. The door is locked.
Okay. Can I do anything about locks?
That would be a craft roll. Or thievery.
So, no is what you're saying.
Yeah, you can try.
Or you can come back to work.
Are there any windows?
There are no windows.
Earlier, when I was noticing the walk the plank section, was there an opening for that, or do they just kind of have a spot where they throw people off a cliff?
They basically just drag them from one of the doors over to the gangway and off you go.
All right. Can I use uh, a dagger or axe and athletics to force open the lock?
You can certainly try.
Sure.
In this case, more a dagger than an axe, but
Yeah.
you have plenty of blades.
Yep. Sure do. So I will apply a fortune momentum combo to this roll.
Oof.
And 5 becomes 8.
8 successes.
Just a little bit of
Yep.
leverage. That's all
Yep.
I need.
So with your 2 extra momentum that you have, you could basically increase the scope of your success so you can make it look like the lock hasn't been forced. Like obviously it is busted as fuck.
Right.
But it when you close the door, it doesn't look busted.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Perfect. All right. So yes. So it looks like this opens into a kitchen.
Right. Nobody in the kitchen.
Nobody in the kitchen. And it's taking a quick look around with your ransack. It looks like it doesn't look like there's a lot of people housed at this temple year round. I mean, it is kind of isolated.
Hmm.
But the kitchen itself looks like it's probably meant for preparing meals for maybe like 5 or 6 people at a time.
Gotcha.
And
So they don't really host a lot of events up here.
right. It looks like
Gotcha.
there's the little kind of village below, but the temple grounds itself probably doesn't house any more than the 4 priests and like a handful of
Maybe,
guards.
yeah, maybe a couple extras. All right, cool. So we'll slink through the kitchen.
Okay. So yeah, after the kitchen, it leads into kind of like the main room, and you can see the light coming through where the doorway's open, where the priests are talking to Karo and them, and you can hear them talking, kind of like if you're looking at the kitchen door, kind of to your left,
Mm-hmm.
and to your right, there is a large double iron door carved in the what looks like a dragon's face. So like if the 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 crack that denotes where the door opens kind of bisects the dragon's face, sort of thing.
Cool. That's where I'd keep a super cool magic horn thing.
Right?
I will head over that way.
Okay. Why don't Caro? Basically, everybody that's outside can give me observation checks.
Mm-hmm.
Observation. Difficulty.
We'll say just difficulty 2. Actually, difficulty 3. Clytius was fairly stealthy.
Totally fine with that.
Three.
All right.
I poked my eye out or something.
So, Karo, you do notice, basically, you can kind of like, your eyes kind of glaze over momentarily as this older priest is going on and on about the history of Asgard and Vanaheim, and you kind of like refocus, and you can see the entryway. You can see Clytius making his way across the back of it towards these large iron doors that are almost directly opposite you. Basically, if you're looking into the entry foyer, probably about 20, 30 feet straight across are where these double doors are. Like if the priests turn around, they have full view of him.
Okay, there's not really a great advantage.
Busted.
Momentum spin. Can I drop a fortune just to keep their attention? Like turn this into like us and the pilgrims behind us, turns into this big history lesson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll spend a fortune to let Claudius do his little burglary.
All right.
Dun, 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 dun.
Perfect. So Clytius, as you start like sneaking your way around and you realize, kind of the position you're in, you can hear the discussion out front. Doesn't get more heated, but more voices are joining in. It seems like there's a fair number of people that want to, educate the foreigners on, proper history.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to trust the captain to do his thing.
Oh yeah, we'll ham this right up. But I don't understand. What's the correlation between this and that and the other thing that you said?
This
So
one,
we're at
even
like a fan
Ragnar
convention?
having stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just a really stupid foreigner. I need you to explain it with really small words.
Very slowly and loudly.
Preferably looking this direction.
All right, Clytius, you make your way to the door.
All right. Does it open?
It is solidly locked, and you can see basically in each of the dragon's eyes a keyhole.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, don't have any keys. So we'll have to try brute force again. Is the gap in between wide enough that I could maybe target the whatever locking bar mechanism?
You can give me a observation test.
Reroll the 19. Oh boy.
Ah, shit.
Get greedy.
Well, the good news is you got 3 successes.
Okay.
So it does look. It looks like you can get probably get a knife in between there. You don't know whether you can't judge how thick these doors are, so you don't know whether your dagger will slide in enough to like catch the latch or whatever. But it's definitely wide enough that you can fit a dagger in up to the crossbar, up to the hilt.
Okay. Well, I will take my very longest dagger and do just that. and try and finagle it open with the force.
Give me an athletics check.
I'll spend 2 momentum in my very last fortune. I don't have any rerolls, so it's going to be 7 successes with a complication.
All right. So you put your dagger in, and you feel something, like something pops, and you can feel there's more give on the doors now. You have unlocked the door. However, at the same time, there's also this hissing sound.
Monkeys don't hiss.
That's fine.
Uh,
As long as it's not monkeys, I'm okay.
as this greenish vapor starts to emanate from the dragon's mouth.
Oh, that might be a problem.
You take 3 vigor damage that ignores armor.
Okay. Is the door open?
The door is unlocked.
All right, I will open the door.
Okay.
3 on 6 dice, not bad.
Because I imagine things are going to get complicated shortly.
Right.
I've smashed. Now I need to do the grab.
Okay. All right. Oh, and give me a resistance test.
I'll spend 2 momentum on this. All right. Does 3 get it done?
Yes, 3 is enough. You are not staggered from the poison.
All right. I won't re-roll the 19 if I don't need it because, yeah,
Because you have learned your lesson.
for now, yeah.
All right. So you guys out front, you do notice, there's this heated discussion. And then you do hear a creaking sound as the doors at the back open.
Oh, I laugh very loudly at something someone
Okay.
said.
One sec. Clytius, you take another point of vigor damage.
All right. Can I move in now?
You can just. The priests, the outside crowd does not yet seem to have noticed.
I think also with the creaking, like if somebody like one of the pilgrims that are just there because they felt it was necessary, like was getting impatient, I would like kind of like be like, hey, show some respect.
Just kind of working to raise the volume to hide what
Yeah.
Clytius is doing.
If I can make like a loud argument here, great.
I'll get in an argument with Ragnar.
So you guys, like, you hear the creaking, and before anybody else gets a chance to really kind of go like, huh, what was that? You kind of direct the conversation to more heated topics. And
What do you think about politics? Oh no!
oh no, not politics.
Well, what? I'm from Asgard. What of it?
Loki's cooler than Thor.
Oof.
So these doors open, Clytius, and you see it. There's no light in here, but there's like the little bit of sunlight kind of streaming in through the open door directly opposite you. And it casts like flickering light across a chamber that is heaped with gold and jewels and horrific carvings on the walls depicting unnatural and horrible things.
Ooh,
Um,
Chinese.
And about like 10-15 feet into the room, you do see this onyx horn lying on an altar that kind of gleams blackly.
Gotcha. Well, Clytius is going to resist his baser urges and go for the prize, the one thing we are after, and ignore all of the shiny things.
All right. Oh, that's one, two. Take 4 more vigor damage.
Okay. Is the gas still permeating the room?
It's the persistent effect. It's essentially it is in your lungs.
Oh,
You can try to clear that though, can you?
Yeah, you can take the time to basically to try to clear it.
Someone
how does
has
that work?
In this case, it would be a resistance test.
Okay, sure. But I will make sure I have the horn first, if
Okay.
possible.
Okay, perfect. So you move in and grab the horn.
And I'll spend 2 momentum.
And it is difficulty 3 on the resistance test.
Okay, that's 4. I won't bother re-rolling the 19.
Okay.
Just to avoid potential badness.
So you kind of like grab the horn, take a moment to like get a breath of clear air. And you have the horn.
Yeah, time to leave.
Okay. And I am going to need a difficulty 3 stealth test.
Oh, balls.
Oh, I wish I could give you a fortune.
That is okay. We will spend 2 momentum. No, let's spend 3.
Uh-huh.
Spend it all. Just use it all. Do what you need to do.
Yep. That
Oh, God.
is.
There we go.
Yeah, that's 3.
3.
Yep. All right. So you have the horn. You make your way out. Okay. And you guys that have this argument in front, you see Clytius making his exit.
Out through the kitchen. Close the broken door behind me.
Dun, dun, dun.
After he gives a little nod, we'll start slowing down the combo.
Yeah, I'm not going to go back to the group. I'm just going to make sure to stow the horn and make for the exit so that I can rejoin my party as we leave.
Alrighty. And I'll get everybody outside to give me an observation check. Difficulty is 1 because I'm spent 2 doom. I did spend, I think I spent like 14 doom in that.
I was watching the doom counter go down, going, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is still working."
Oh, Ragnar!
I see everything.
All right. So all of you notice. Ragnar, you really notice. Double ones. Clytius did not close the vault door behind him when he left.
No, he didn't.
He
was scared I was going to throw gas again.
So as far as you know, nobody saw Clytius in and out and steal the horn. But as soon as these priests turn around, they're going to know something is up.
Oh, we have a big queue behind us.
You do. There is like people have been, still coming as you guys have been having this conversation over the last 5, 6, 7 minutes.
Hopefully, we'll be able to get the hell out of here before anybody notices.
Can I spend a fortune to get people a little, just not irate, but a little bit irritated about the delays?
Oh, they're already a little bit irritated about the delays.
But like, maybe a little push and shove and go on, thing that'll take a few minutes for the priest to calm down, kind of deal.
Gotcha. Yes, that you can do. I mean, half of these guys are already, in their cups, as it were.
Yeah, so we'll just poke a bear a couple times,
Yep.
I'll spend that fortune. And then I think we'll just leave. No.
Let's get our asses to the cart now.
All right. So you guys are, kind of, as you're making your way through this, small throng of people, back to the pathway. Clytius catches up with you, looking, slightly green around the gills.
We good?
Yeah, fine. Let's get out of here.
I was being sarcastic when I said we were subtle.
Start making your way down this winding pathway.
Half the time, it works all the time, Captain.
And you're probably about 3/4 of the way down. When from up above you, you hear this like a hunting horn being blown. In which case there, has to blow a couple times to kind of be overheard the din of the party festivities that are happening. But then everything kind of, quiets down a bit. I mean, you guys are continuing to move down the path, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Walking with purpose. And, everything kind of quiets down. People are still like milling about, but everybody's now paying attention as the horn sounds again.
Yeah, we'll look like we're paying attention too. We'll mimic what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
I thought we were moving down the path.
Well, we'll do that too, but we'll be like, if everyone's looking around confused, we'll look around confused.
And some of the couple of guards that were down, kind of watching watching over the festivities, and some of the mounted folks that you saw come in, basically start double timing it up the path. They have no idea what's going on, so they kind of brush right by you.
Oh yeah, we'll give them all the room they need.
Oh yeah.
They're obviously great warriors, and yeah.
Little bow of deference, that kind of good.
Time to go.
Time to go.
But yeah, once the guards have been summoned, as it were, to be filled in, it's not so much that the festivities pick back up again, but people start milling about, talking to one another. What do you think's going on? What's going on? Like the party atmosphere is gone, but people are going about their business now. Like everybody isn't stopped frozen waiting for some pronouncement or anything.
Pick up a fresh meat on the way out.
I got a thing. Hear the king. Can I use that to, pick a bunch of drunken people and say they're probably the guys that you need to look into?
Or you could teach them about air horns and how fun they are. Start blowing your horn randomly. People love it. It's great.
You know, proper authority, spread message across a large group of people.
Um,
I think the authorities have all gone up to the top, probably. So.
yeah, you would probably have to go up to talk to the priests and stuff to let them know to look for those guys.
Yeah, fuck that. We'll keep that one in the back pocket.
Okay.
You could put one group of guys against another group of guys.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that we'll just get the rumor started that, you know, maybe it was those guys from Samaria that did it.
Yeah, you can, you know, the best you can do is, you know, to say like, oh, it's probably those darn foreigners, hoping that, you know, they go through the other foreigners before they get to looking for you, sort of thing.
Sure.
It's true. We're the good foreigners.
So give me a society test just to kind of see how much time you buy.
I am very good at society.
Actually, it's society or command, whichever you're better at.
Society, I'm better at. I do have a command reroll, but you said they can substitute, right?
Yep.
I'll drop that last fortune because I think we might actually get away with the heist here. And I'm not intimidating anyone. What's the difficulty?
Let's say it's difficulty 1, because really how well you roll determines how much time you manage to buy.
Let's roll well.
That's a good roll.
How's
That's
that?
a really good roll.
I could start a rumor.
So you know, as you kind of overhear people talking about like, oh, what's going on, you know, something happened at the temple. You know, you're like, oh, it might have been those Sumerians over there. It might have been, you know, that guy looks like he's from Zamora. Everybody knows you can't trust a Zamoran. You know, just kind of seeding little things here and there as you guys continue to walk with purpose towards your cart.
Yeah, I heard there's a Setite somewhere in the camp.
Yeah. Oh, those damn Stygians, they have their fingers everywhere.
As we get like within eyesight of my men back at the cart, I'm gonna kind of like give like the, all right, we're getting out of here, just to kind of get them to get the cart unlatched
Okay.
and ready to go. Like, come on, let's go.
Pretty sure the universal symbol for that is the raised finger and the circling.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what
so.
I'm doing. That's literally what I was doing in real life right now.
Yeah. All right. So your guys are like, oh, well, shit. Okay. You know, so they get your ponies and your cart, you know, ready to go, so you guys can, you know, kind of under the chaos that Caro has, you know, kind of sown in your wake. You guys can get underway. Start making your way into the mountains, and you're a little distance away, probably, you know, probably a mile or two out away, before you hear like hunting horns starting to echo through the mountains. Enough to indicate that although you have bought some time, folks are going to be on your trail. And that is where we will pick it up next game.
Yeah.
Hey, we did a heist.
Yeah.
Nobody get killed.
Just so everybody knows, though, I will not be around on the 24th. Anita and I are going to be up in Ontario for a wedding.
Gotcha.
So the next game will be on May the 8th, I believe.
Good.
Looks like the.
But yes, you guys have successfully managed to steal the horn.
Wow.
You're
Look at
welcome.
us.
Now you just have to deliver it across, you know, 300 miles of mountain and snow.
And that guy with the war horse won't be a problem, I'm sure.
I'm sure he won't be.
Never see that guy again.
Never.
Yeah, I mean, I totally could have thrown him off a sacrificial plank, but
Well, the day's
That
still
sounds-
young.
That sounds like a later problem.
Alrighty. So yeah, we will see everybody in a couple of weeks.
XP.
150.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, have a good night, folks.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Night, Chris.
Night.
You will.
Yep.
150 puts us at 2,900 even.
Oh, nice.
All right. See you next time.
All right. See you guys.
See you, everybody.
Later.